What's up, guys? So this is a discussion on Attack on Titan up to and including episode 24. Now, it's kind of sad because apparently there's only 25 episodes out, meaning that's gonna be it. It's sad, you know. Then I'm gonna have to wait weekly or probably monthly or bi-monthly for the next one. I'll probably switch over to a manga, realize there's only a couple extra chapters there, debate whether I want to spoil it, and end up reading it. Anyhow, this episode, it compelled me to do another discussion video on this whole thing. About from the start of the chapter until 99% of the way through to the end of the chapter, I was so disgusted with Aaron, because I just thought he was just such a coward. He was, I just thought, again, he's just not doing a thing, always taking Mikasa and Armin for granted. And each time they save his back or save him from certain death, I mean, he should be dead like 10 times over. Well, not 10 times, like 3 or 4 times over by now. Okay, 2 or 3 times over by now, for sure, guaranteed. If it wasn't for either people in the squadron or whoever who saved him. And he's never grateful. He's always, once he's recovered, he's just back to his own stubborn self. And I felt him exceptionally annoying up until that last second, that last cliffhanger at the end of the episode, spoiler alert, where he turns into a Titan and then he decides to fight. And I'm like, okay, now he's worth something. But like the whole episode, it was like 4 minutes of him whining and screaming at Annie to come down to the underground passage, which I just thought was too much. It was overdone, and never once, even after he recovered, was he thankful to Annie or not Annie, to Mikasa or the rest of the squadron for saving his life again. He's just constantly, complaining and screaming. Like that whole flashback that took like 5 minutes, it was him whining about, it can't be Annie, it can't be Annie, no, no, no. And I find it very incongruent how he's so attached to certain team members, and yet at the same time, he's forgotten a lot of team members, and it's very confusing. I'm at the point where I just want him to shut up and get to work and figure out what's going on. And because of it, it has spurred me to side with with humanity. But underlying all this, I'm still thinking, I think the Titans are actually good people, or there's some sort of conspiracy going on where I believe that the Titans were constructed by humans, maybe in order to quell potential war, or just to delude the mass public, in order for there just not to be any fighting between the bunch, or maybe it was some sort of method in order to lower the population of humanity, for whatever reason. And before I forget, the biggest thing that I want to emphasize in this chapter was the military police disgusted me to no end. This chapter pretty much told me how corrupt and lazy and stupid and idiotic the military police are, and how the, I guess, scout quadrant, I forgot what they were called, the scouting squad, the people with wings on their back, like they garnered so much respect for me, because they all know what to do. They're immediately like adept. And then the military police are constantly just playing cards, not doing a thing, escorting people. And then when something finally breaks out, they're too scared to actually fight the Titan when they see it with their own eyes. And then the scouting squad's like there. They know what it's like. They know how to do it, and they're already attacking this Titan. And they're out there constantly risking their lives. And then when they come home constantly, the whole townsfolk are complaining about them and saying, you're taking our tax dollars, and on top of that there's like, where's my son, where's my daughter, I hope they return. And it's just, they're so ungrateful, and they have to take it all in the chest. It's so ridiculous too, because the townsfolk are whining about how they didn't do anything yet again, and they were so close to making such a huge breakthrough, and they couldn't say anything. And I have so much respect for the commanders. I think his name's Erwin, and then like the first in command, who I forgot his name, but he has a black hair, and he always has that like emo expression on his face. He's like one of my favorite characters, not only because of the respect garnered in the last few episodes for him for the reasons I just explained, but more importantly, it had to be because of like he's literally really really strong. Like there's this one episode, like just 1 or 2 episodes ago, where he was fighting the female titan, and it was ridiculous. You guys all, like, he has that trademark fighting style when he's using his 3D maneuvering gear, where he sort of spins and turns into like a little, spinning circle, and that's his trademark. Like each time he fights, only he does that. And there's this one scene, like last episode I guess, when he's like, I'm gonna take on this female titan, after like the titan pretty much ripped through their entire scouting squad, and he's coming from behind, and I guess he's going for the neck, but all of a sudden the female titan for some reason notices, and immediately like turns around and like goes and punches him. And in like a split second he reacts. If he didn't, he would have, that punch would have connected face like forward, well, body forward, because the fist is bigger than his whole body, and he would have died. But he reacted instantly, turned into that whirlpool, sliced up her arm, and then just fought her from there. It was insane. And I'm like, this guy is a pro. And here's the most retarded part. So we're kind of getting a hierarchy here. We got the scouting squad, brave individuals. Some of them have gone through lots of fights with titans while scouting outside. They're constantly developing strategies to figure out what to do and research them. Then you got the lazy military police. I don't even want to complain about them or talk about them anymore. And then the Royal Guard Squadron, which stay in the innermost sanctums and guard the king, I guess. So we know enough about the king to know that he's a lazy, selfish fool who just cares about himself. So I feel like it's a paradox, because the most revered squadron with the supposedly most talented people, you have to be in the top 10 to just have the option of going there. They're in the innermost layers, and they're probably even doing nothing, even compared to the military police who do nothing. And I'm really anguished about the corruption and the black market and the robbery and thievery and homicides going on inside humanity, and it irks me to no end, and I really want to figure out what's going on. I feel like the author has a lot of possibilities, but really only a couple big possibilities to explain this, one of which I already explained, and hope is not the truth, because I'd rather it not be like that, because it's the most predictable explanation for all this conspiracy sort of stuff going on. And I do believe the Colossus and Armored Titan are also human beings who can transform into Titans, which begs the question: if they can transform into Titans, then maybe there's a huge connection between humans and Titans. And I just want to leave with this. So we do know Erwin is, we don't know Erwin's fighting capabilities, but we do know that black-haired emo guy who's also like the commander of the scouting squadron, and he's really strong. Then we have Mikasa, who's also fairly strong, like probably really strong, but not as strong as the emo dude. Then we got the military police, who at this point I think they're all weak as heck, cowards, corrupt cowards. And then I am very interested to see all of the unknown guards who are in like the royal guard in the center, because they've never had to do any work, but potentially they're like maybe 10 times as strong as any of these people. And I wish there was like 100 more episodes of this, but there aren't. And I'm really surprised I got so far into it and liked it so much. But I guess I'm glad I did. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And I will be watching, I guess, the last episode very soon. I don't know if I want to save it or not yet. I haven't decided. But I'll see you guys later.